1470 WNN.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to the Ask the Experts Show with local celebrity hosts Steve O and Rene. Sit back each week while Steve O and Rene educate you with live in-studio experts, such as lawyers, doctors, home improvement, and financial experts in their field. Call in and have your questions answered each week at 888-565-1470. Now, here is Steve O and Rene with today's expert in their field.
And we are here on a beautiful day today.
It is gorgeous out.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Ask the Expert Show. I think it's the greatest educational, informational show in South Florida.
I agree.
My name is Steve O, and I'm here with the beautiful, the gorgeous Rene.
How you doing, Steve O?
I'm always trying to get brownie points with you.
You need them lately.
Anyway, today we have two great experts on. I love the first half of our show because I know who our audience is. And though we also talk on legal and financial and home improvement, today is kind of a health day because we have, I think, one of the greatest home care companies, Caregiver Services, with us today. And if you would like to watch the show today, right now, watch us live. You can go to www.wwnnradio, click on the WWNN TV link on the left-hand side.
There we are.
There we are.
And if you have a question about home care, call us at 888-565-1470. And if you have a relative or you're looking for home care company, we have the best home care company live here in studio today with us.
So let me introduce you to, she's not a rookie anymore.
No.
No, she's like...
She's a radio expert now.
I know. Let me introduce you to our guest, Nina Plonko, the Director of Long-Term Care Insurance at Caregiver Services. And when you were on with us last time, you did such a great job. We actually had people who contacted us through email telling us what a great show it was.
Yes.
We don't get a lot of those.
Wow.
So you did a great job.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show, Nina.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So, and our audience is just so perfect because we have a little bit older audience.
Older demographics.
And listen, when it comes to home care, you can't get a better audience than that. So tell everybody about Caregiver Services and also tell them what parts of South Florida you cover too.
Sure. So Caregiver Services is a multifaceted healthcare company, largest in the state for sure, maybe even the country. We've got 12 offices throughout the state of Florida. And within that company, we have our registries, which are primarily giving caregivers to the folks out in the community that need help in the home, getting out of the home, getting to the store, whatever it is that they might need. That's what our caregivers are there to help. And they start out as simple companions, and they work through home health aides, certified nursing assistants,
depending on the needs of the patient.
And even an LPN or an RN, right, a registered nurse. If they need a higher level, then we have that.
Right, so they could start out actually having somebody with them, a companion, and then work into something, if they need additional help within the home.
Absolutely.
Or medical.
It happens every day. We start out with someone that might just need a transportation, a ride to the grocery store, a doctor's appointment, and then as they age or as their illness progresses,
right.
then they can just work their way up in levels.
So Caregiver Services offers a lot of different services.
Yes.
Just can you go over again the different services that you do offer?
Sure. We have the registries, which provide the caregivers that to provide the care in the home. Then we have our Medicare and Medicaid agencies that are in Dade and Broward County that provide the higher skilled level. Your skilled nurses for wound cares, diabetics, physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy. And then we have our PPACs, which are dear to my heart, which are prescribed pediatric extended care centers, which are high acuity daycare centers, if you will, for really sick kids.
Which is wonderful.
Which is wonderful, and they're in a beautiful setting where, as a parent, you would want to bring your child. They're not institutionalized. They're very daycare set-ish, so that you feel like you're normal, if you will.
And it allows the parents to work.
That's correct, and that's basically what the program is for. You bring your children there. They have CNAs, they have nurses, they have doctors there, they have physical therapy, and it gives the parent peace of mind to have a job where they can leave their child.
Kids are in good hands,
and they're in
which
great
is perfect.
hands.
Yes,
it's excellent.
How about Alzheimer's? Do you
Sure.
take care of Alzheimer's, dementia?
And this is within the home?
Within the home. And we take care of people in the home. There are people that we take care of in assisted living facilities. We staff
So you go
hospitals.
into assisted living facilities?
Sure,
Oh,
absolutely.
wow.
Wherever
Great.
the client is.
Hospitals as well?
Hospitals as well. We do a lot of custodial type sitter services.
Yes.
Where if you're in the hospital and the ratio is not always great, a lot of patients, not a lot of nurses, we would go in there as one-on-one and sit with the client in the night, especially when the census is higher and the nurses are lower, and just be there to help them, to go to the bathroom or just to walk down the hall, whatever that they need.
Wow.
So anything new happening at CSI?
Well,
See, I'm a big shot now. It's not caregiver service, it's CSI.
I love that, though.
Yeah, we actually have a couple of new programs. One of them is my bread and butter, if you will, is long-term care insurance. I am a big proponent of it. I don't sell it, but I've been working in the arena for about 18 or 20 years. I find that the world of long-term care insurance is changing every day, and I am a huge advocate for clients, whether they're my clients or somebody else's clients, that the insurance companies do what the policies are meant to do. And because of the world that long-term care insurance is, it's very costly for these insurance companies, and I'm not feeling sorry for them, but clients have policies, they've paid for policies 10, 15 years, and then when they go to use them, there's all these obstacles, there's all these things in the way that they can't access what they're needing.
So how do you get past that?
Well, I've been doing this a long time.
No, I know.
And
That's why I'm asking. You're the expert.
I am, and I have a lot of good relationships in the industry, and there are good carriers out there, and they do want to do the right thing. So I'm an advocate for clients that if they want to use their long-term care insurance, they come to a company like CSI that has a structure in place with, I have 8 people that work in our offices, just making sure that the policies and the claims are being done correctly, which is huge.
Is that a separate policy that people
Yes.
buy?
Yeah, long-term care insurance is above and beyond your major medical. So you have your Medicare, you have your HMOs or United or Aetna or whatever insurance you have.
Which limits services a lot of times, right?
Well, they're for specific things. They're
Right.
either for hospital, doctor's appointments, testing, that they're not really meant for home care. They're not meant for custodial care. And that's what this policy is. You pay for it separate and above. And
What age? What age should people start looking at long-term care?
I'm telling people, the average age used to be 10, 15 years ago, they were in their 70s and 80s buying this. Now the average age is anywhere in their 40s.
Wow.
But does the cost increase as you get older?
Yeah. You buy long-term care insurance with your health. And the only way to buy it with your health is obviously the younger you are, the less
healthier you
expensive
are.
it is.
Right, exactly.
And the more you age, then the underwriting is just really hard as you're getting older.
So what does that cover, the long-term care?
That's a great question.
I told her to ask that.
Settle
He
down,
did.
man.
Long-term care insurance is meant for custodial type services. So if you have a situation, a procedure, surgery, or you're just aging, and you need help with bathing, dressing, toileting, transfer, or the actual act of eating, sometimes you can't use your arm, you can't use your hand, and those are called activities of daily living. And it's funny because when you really look at it, from a baby, you learn how to do those things. And as you age, as you learn them is how you stop being able to do them. And
You regress?
you regress.
Wow.
And so what happens is as someone's aging, they have difficulty walking. They have difficulty getting up out of the chair. They have difficulty in the shower, getting in and out of the shower, washing themselves.
So I have difficulty with the vacuum cleaner. That's probably due to age, right?
Yeah, that's different.
Good excuse.
Nina's the one who gave you the excuse.
That
She's
was
the pro.
good. No, wouldn't cover.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So for those people, that's what this policy is meant for. And when you have this policy, if you should have a cognitive impairment, then it would supersede the need for the activities of daily living, and it would give people those hours with somebody to be there for them all
Which
the
is
time.
really important. It
It's huge.
alleviates family responsibility
Yeah,
as well.
Yes,
Because
it's huge.
it
Peace
puts a
of
lot
mind.
it puts a lot of pressure on families.
Yeah, peace of mind, and that's the truth. I mean, these people bought these policies, and they're buying them still because two people are working, husband and wife, children are all working. For me, example, my father's 85, my daughter's 10. Well, I can only juggle so many hours
Right.
and be for so many places at the same time. This way, if my parents needed somebody, I know that they're safe and they
And
have
they're well
somebody
taken care of.
and they're well taken care of.
See, that shows that most women are the ones who take care of their parents. Is that right?
That's true.
But most women today have full-time jobs.
Right.
And that's why home care has become even more important than ever before.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But it's expensive. And so this is critical.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's why I was asking you if it's cheaper getting it younger. I mean, does the price increase as you get older? Does
Yeah.
the cost of it?
The
I'm
co-
saying
yeah,
if you buy it now, say if you're in your like 60s or 50s, and you buy it now, does the cost still stay the same, or does it go up as you get older?
It goes up as you get older, and they do have rate increases. And I know people don't like those, but the industry will shift as it needs to, and there are rate increases. But when I talk to clients, I always tell them, no matter what you're paying in premium, which may seem like a lot, and if you can continue to afford it, keep it. Because when you go on claim, the amount that insurance company pays out won't even come close to what you've paid.
Oh, wow.
If you do the factoring of how much the care costs just in the regular population, it could, I've seen it wipe out families.
Wow. So how
Financially.
does it differ from like home care or Medicare?
Well, Medicare's purpose has always been for the skilled care. It's home care under Medicare is meant for wound care, diabetes, physical therapy, a transition from a hospital setting or a rehab back to your home to make a safe environment. They will send you a bath visit, which is like 45 minutes 3 times a week, because it's part of like a package, but they're not there to do the custodial work. That's why it's so critical that people look into this. They're not there to take you to the grocery store. They're not there to make
Or
sure
to
you
cook,
get
or to cook
right,
something
or
for you.
get your prescriptions.
Right.
As a nurse, I have sent home many a patient with a big long list of new medications. Stop this one, start this one, go to the pharmacy. But if you truly were in the hospital and then in rehab for a certain period of time, it could be 2-3 weeks since you've been home. So you have no food in your house, you have no prescriptions, and then we send you home. And then we hope for the best. And it's a very scary situation.
It really is.
Yeah.
And, I want to say something. One of the reasons Rene and I developed this show was that we could keep you from having to go Google somebody.
Yes.
Because you never know when you're going to need something. And I know we have a lot of younger couples out there that are taking care of mom and dad or even their grandparents. And a show like this is going to tell you know what? You need to start planning now. Do not wait till the last minute. We brought in Caregiver Services because we knew they were one of the top companies. So you don't have to Google, okay? Give
And you're on
everybody your
call.
phone number,
I was about
too.
to say, you're on call 24/7.
Right.
And this is not an answering machine.
No, we have a live call center that's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There are no holidays for us. The number is 877-CAREGIVER. 877-CAREGIVER.
Okay.
Why don't you explain what Home Advance is?
Sure. So having talked about the cost of home care, it's expensive. The industry standards, if you were to just call up anybody, range anywhere from $17 to $22 per hour.
Wow.
And that's down here in the Tri-County, Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. When you start to go in the north part of Florida, it could be $25 to $30 per
We're in
hour.
the wrong business.
Yeah. So Caregiver Services, who has been around for a really long time, decided that we wanted to give back. And so we created a program called Home Advance. And there's 2 tiers to it. The first tier is very simple. It's a pre-registration process. The clients call us. They give us their name, their address, and their phone number. Very simple information, and they lock in to a discounted rate, which in the Tri-County area is $14.50 an hour. So if you see the industry stand, very affordable, and it locks into that rate for 2 years.
That's great.
It'll stay at that rate, and then after the 2 years, it'll go up $1 for every 2 years, and it'll cap at 17.
Oh, that could
And
be
that's their
5, 6,
rate.
7 years down the road.
Right. And that's an amazing concept. And we took it a step further, and there are clients out there that, especially in the long-term care world, who have what we call elimination periods. They have periods of time that they're responsible, deductible, where they have to pay first, or they may have small policies and they have a large out-of-pocket. If somebody wanted to put down money in advance, then they would get an extra deeper discount of $13.50 for 3 years. And
That's great. That really is.
It is good. And it would then go the same thing. It would go up $1 every 3 years and cap at 17. And so I was really happy with that product, because then I can give those to my clients that have, that I can see where they would be in trouble with a 90-day elimination or whatever they had to pay. And the amazing part about it was the company then said that if clients put down money, it's totally refundable if they ever need the money back.
Wow. Thank you, Caregiver Services. We need to go to break. When we come back, I've got so many questions for Nina. We will be right back.
Caregiver Services is the most trusted name in caregiving in South Florida. Caregiver Services offers skilled nursing, assistance with activities of daily living, shower or bath visits, meal preparation, housekeeping, companion homemakers, live-in care, special needs, and many other areas of home care. Caregiving Services also provides care for Alzheimer's and dementia patients, as well as transportation for doctors' visits. Caregiver Services conducts extensive background screenings, including Level 2 background checks. Caregiver Services accepts long-term care insurance and Medicare. Contact Caregiver Services today at 800-282-6409 or go to their website at csicaregiver.com. Trust the care of your loved one with the home care company that so many trust. That's Caregiver Services, where caring comes first. Call them now at 800-282-6409 for peace of mind.
And we're back. You have people who work for you called caregivers. Mm-hmm. How do you go about screening them? Because that would be the most important thing, is someone who's coming into my house. Can I trust them? And
Absolutely,
do they know what they're doing? And I'm sure some of the clients could get pretty rough.
Yeah.
And can somebody also screen their own person coming in the house?
That's a good question. So our company takes screening of caregivers very seriously. We're a very large company, and we do a lot of different we have a lot of different payer sources, and some are government work and some non-government work. So we credential all of our caregivers to the highest standards. And in doing that, we do level 2 background checks on all our caregivers, which are fingerprints. They have to send us their work history, and it is actually verified. It's not just a piece of paper and we say, oh, thank you. We actually call, we verify, we make sure that they did a good job. The local area director, who is responsible for where that caregiver is going to be working, has to meet that caregiver. It's not a clerk that just takes all the documents and puts it into the computer. They actually have to meet with them, have a conversation with them, see that they're able to speak and they understand what their responsibilities are, when they go out there. We take it very seriously.
Well, these people are in the homes.
Well, they're in the homes, and they're elderly for the most part, or they're young. And if a client has a caregiver that they have from the outside or that their neighbor used, which is often, she worked for Shirley down the street, they can come to us at any time, and they can be registered with us. They would still have to go through the credentialing process to make sure that they met the criteria. But that happens often. If they know someone that they like, why would I give them somebody they don't know when they already have somebody? But they have to be work in this country. They have to have all their documentation, and it's a very stringent process. They have to have a health record, make sure that they don't have any communicable diseases. I always slow down.
That makes a
on
lot
that
of
word.
sense right
Yes.
now.
Yeah, well, yeah, it makes a lot of
And
sense.
do you have Hispanic-speaking caregivers?
Sure. We
Oh,
have,
that's great.
Yeah, we have English speaking, we have Hispanic, we have
Yiddish?
French. We do have Yiddish, and we try to match the client with the language that they feel most comfortable. And like my grandmother, when she was getting older, she's from Germany, and so her English disappeared, and she was speaking to my father in German. And that happens often when you're aging. You resort back to what you're most comfortable with, and so we try really hard to match up those personalities and those cultures. Yiddish people, kosher people, we have it all, and it's important.
So if you send a caregiver to somebody's house and they say, no, that's not who I want, you'll send somebody else out
Yeah,
there if they're not happy with their caregiver?
We try really hard to encourage people to interview. We will send 2, 3, 4, as many caregivers as the client needs, because we can only choose from what you're telling us. And some people are good at telling us what they need, and some people aren't so good, and some people don't know.
Right.
So we pick and we send and we hope. But if
And
they
I can
interview,
attest to it because my uncle started out with your company, still using them. He is a full-time caregiver in the home. And initially somebody was sent out, and he's very fussy. And he didn't care for them. It just wasn't a match for him. And then they sent somebody else out, and he adores her.
And then they
and
hold
she's
on
with
tight.
Yes, exactly. She's like
We
part
saw
of
them
the
out to
family.
dinner.
Yeah.
She
They
took
go
them out
out
to dinner.
all the time together. Yes,
They become family, and that's why it's so important that
She
the
comes
match.
for the holidays.
Yeah, the
She
match
does.
has to be right.
So I
Yeah.
can see someone who's listening right now going, I want that company instead of the one we're with. Can people change
Oh, sure.
caregivers?
Yeah, home care is client choice.
But is there a contract that
There are no contracts. There's documents that you need to sign in order to make sure that we're compliant with the state. But they can easily call up and say, I don't need anybody anymore, and then they call whoever they want.
and caregivers is covered by insurance? Is that right?
Well, they're covered. We do Medicare and Medicaid, and then we have long-term care insurance. And if they don't have insurance, then we have our home advance program.
And if they're in the hospital, do your caregivers go to the hospital too?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, then they go to the
Absolutely.
hospital
Yeah.
and they could actually go home with the patient as well.
That's correct. We try to do continuity of care. The only time they can't go to the hospital is if the client has long-term care insurance, because the insurance doesn't cover in the hospital because it's meant for home. But that doesn't mean they can't have the caregiver. They can privately pay for the caregiver to stay with them, and many families do that.
So, are there certain insurances that caregivers takes besides Medicare? I mean, do you take pretty much everything?
Yes, we take all the long-term care insurance products that are out there, and we have a contract with Aetna, and we have a contract with Prudential. The best thing to do is to call our customer service reps and
To see what insurances
to see
you
what
take.
we do. And then if we don't know, then we can do a three-way call with the insurance company and get all the information to see if they would allow us to be, the caregiver company.
What is nurse registry? What is that?
A nurse registry is a type of licensure in Florida that it allows the caregivers are independent contractors.
So it's still a form of caregiver.
Absolutely, and it's regulated through the agency, through Healthcare Administration, just like an agency would be. Nurse registries have a tendency to be less expensive because there's less overhead. Because they're independent contractors, we're not paying all these people to be working. We work the caregivers that are available to work, and so it's a cost savings for the clients. And basically, we still answer to the same administration, and we still follow the same rules and regulations.
So, tell us the other divisions of CSI. I know you mentioned them previously.
Yeah, so we have our nurse registries, which are 12 throughout the state. We have our agencies, which are in Dade and Broward County. We have Health Med in Dade and Quality, which is in Broward. And then we have our PPECs. We have Dade, Broward, Palm Beach County. There's one in Orlando. There's going to be 2 more in Dade County.
That's
And-
And
wonderful
what
what they're
insurance
doing.
is, it's unbelievable.
children.
Yeah.
And for the children, what insurance
That's
covers
Medicaid.
that? That's just for
That's
Medicaid. So
Medicaid.
Medicaid covers that.
Medicaid covers that.
Which
and-
is incredible.
Yeah, and there's transportation from the PPAC for the children. So if the parents can't drop them off, or if they have a lot of equipment, then a caregiver would come and pick them up and take them to the center.
And what's the time frame if somebody has a child with a disability or a medical problem? What's the time frame? Like if they called your company and they said, "Oh my God, I didn't even know that you had something like this." What's the time frame through Medicaid that they could get approved?
Well, they'd have to have Medicaid in order to come to the
Right,
system,
exactly.
to the center. But they would just call up, and then we would do the paperwork and the admission, and we would
So
get them
almost
going.
immediately, pretty much. That's
You know
wonderful.
what?
That's a wonderful
We've only got a few
service.
minutes left. I want to say this. There is, if you Googled home care, there's like 50 pages down here. Don't get caught up in this. We have the best, the finest caregiver services. Give everybody your phone number
And your
again.
website address.
Yeah, you got a
Yeah.
great website.
The phone number is 877-CAREGIVER. So it's 877-CAREGIVER. And the website is www.csicaregiver.com.
It's easy to remember. It really is.
Caregiver.
And we love
Yeah.
having Nina on with us. And hopefully she's going to be back with us next month because there's just so much great information that does not get out there. And we have the best. So we're going to go to break. And when we return, we have a great, great mold remover company on with us in the second half. And for all you snowbirds out there, who are coming back, you've got to get ready now and prepared.
That's right.
Because you might have mold.
And had hurricane shutters up.
Exactly. So we're going to be back. And Nina, thanks for coming on
Thanks for
today.
coming on today, Nina.
Thank
It's so
you.
much fun to do the show with her. It's so easy. Again, that's Caregiver Services. And we will be back in just a minute.
Caregiver Services is the most trusted name in caregiving in South Florida. Caregiver Services offers skilled nursing, assistance with activities of daily living, shower or bath visits, meal preparation, housekeeping, companion homemakers, live-in care, special needs, and many other areas of home care. Caregiving Services also provides care for Alzheimer's and dementia patients, as well as transportation for doctors' visits. Caregiver Services conducts extensive background screenings, including Level 2 background checks. Caregiver Services accepts long-term care insurance and Medicare. Contact Caregiver Services today at 800-282-6409 or go to their website at csicaregiver.com. Trust the care of your loved one with the home care company that so many trust. That's Caregiver Services, where caring comes first. Call them now at 800-282-6409 for peace of mind.
Hi, I'm Steve O with the Ask the Experts radio show. Join my co-host Rene and I every Friday as we interview